god, from the galaxy ages, Super Mario Galaxy is better than nothing. Damn, you're kinda crazy for loving a fictional character named Rosalina. Hey, what's up guys, my name is Mateka, welcome back to the video game. I'm sorry that I have not been making the videos in a while. I was actually on vacation. B, also had to transfer my phone to an iPhone. So you can see I'm using an iPhone now, and I used to have my own Android, obviously. But let me put this perspective, guys. I'm speaking of topics, today we talk about, wow, I'm playing some Minecraft while we're doing this. Today we're talking about is phone warriorship, and basically being elitism when it comes to phones and stuff, because I feel like that's just ridiculous in my opinion. I feel like it's just the dumbest thing ever to be a fanboy of whatever phone you have. Let me give you a pill. Let me give you a Madalena pill, okay? Let me give you some pills, okay? I don't condone any drug use on the channel. Let me put this in perspective. So I remember I had an Android, right? And people were like, "Oh, you have an Android? Ew, you're poor." And then, like, when I was iOS, I'm like, "Wait, you're on the blue bubbles? You're on the blue bubbles, Matthew?" And I'm like, bruh, are we 13? Are we 10? Are we 8? And I'm like, the bubbles doesn't matter, okay? So let me put this in perspective, like, because, like, I hate when people, like, saying that, like, oh, you should switch to Android. Oh, you should switch to iOS. They're just phones at the end of the day, to be honest. Like, because, like, let me give you this. This is coming from perspective of an Android user and also iOS user. I use both platforms, actually. My first time using the iPhone was the iPhone 6S. It goes far back also for the iPhone 4, but I never owned one. It was basically my mom's, so I used to play with it when I was a kid. I loved it. And then I switched to the iPhone. I actually used my first phone was the iPhone 6S. Well, technically, the first phone was the Android, but it wasn't really Android. It was more of a track phone. That's totally different, though. But my first real phone was the iPhone 6S, and man, that was fun. And then eventually, I lost that phone, so I had to get a new one. So I went to Android because it was cheaper. It worked for me, and usually cheaper. But I got the high-end device of Android, so I don't think I got the cheap one. At first, I got the cheap one, but then I got the high-end over time, so it wasn't a big deal. Now, what people don't get is what people don't know what they're talking about when it comes to phones. Let's put this in perspective. So when I talk about phones to people, and especially, I'm not going to say Apple, or I'm not going to say Android, I'm going to say both in general. When I talk to phones to people, they just don't know what they're talking about, okay? If I were to tell people that Android is based on the Linux kernel, or based on it, it's not Linux, it's obviously Android, it's totally different. But if I tell people that Android was based on the Linux kernel and Apple iOS was based on the BSD kernel, I think their brains were losing their mind and freaking out and put me in asylum because I told them something that they didn't even know about. It's to the point that when I talk to people about my intelligence and what I believe, I probably would be in an asylum of what I tell them, because if I tell them, it's very confusing. They just not gonna understand. They just be freaking the hell out, okay? Now, I can't say the F word, obviously, because YouTube would demonetize this channel, and I can't, you know, it's just gonna take my money, so I gotta censor everything, obviously. If you do want to see everything not censored, check out check out my other channel on Library. Check out Library, where we do uncensored content, do exclusive uncensored content and stuff. If you do want to see me on the Metaverse, with exclusive 360 content, check out on Metaverse. I'll leave that link in the description. I know some of the devices don't work on it, but if you can, that'd be cool. You can listen to at least the audio version of it, and that's fine. But like I was saying, this is my house in Minecraft, which is pretty cool. But what I don't get, what is with the iOS and Android is, they think that it, like, having both for iOS and iPhone is like, basically, let me put it in perspective. Like, basically having like an iPhone is better than having an Android, and then vice versa. Like, having an Android is better than an iPhone. At the end of the day, guys, it's just phones, to be honest. And when I talk to people, especially like people that love to criticize Android people for having an Android phone, or even having a Windows phone, a Windows laptop, or even like Linux. Well, let me put this perspective. You know what I noticed too? You know what I noticed is that no one really uses Linux. I'm not trying to be a fanboy of Linux, but sometimes people see me as a fanboy. But the reason why I'm just not a fanboy in general, because I'd rather fix all things altogether. Like, if you have the mindset of just one-side opinions, and just one side, and you believe only one opinion, I think that's a bad thought to have, or that bad thought process to have. I think that's more like a troglodyte move, to be honest. If you think of one-side opinions like, oh, iPhones are better, or Androids are better, I think that's just the dumbest move. Because there's always pros and cons of each system, and maybe some exclusives. But with phones, it's like one of the dumbest arguments, because they're basically hardly the same thing. Like, all you really need to do with a phone is emails. First of all, emails, browsing the web, and maybe play some few games in there. And maybe even stream. And 99% of every price range and every phone can probably do the same thing, okay? But you can play Mario Kart Tour on the same phone. You can even play, your Pokemon Go on the same phone. You can even use Google Maps on the same phone. You can even use Google Assistant on the same phone. Like, you can use it. Maybe it works differently for each platform, but I don't get the phone warrior type of scenario. I really don't get it. If people still cancel me for it, I don't get it. Like, I think people are sensitive because when it comes to phones. Now another thing they brought me up is the customization when it comes to Android. Okay, yes, I understand that like iOS, when it comes to customization, they kind of limited with it. But there's also pros with iOS, and that's because of the efficiency of it's just more efficient. Now, when people say like, Android has more RAM and it's better now, it's because it has more RAM. People don't know what they're talking about when it comes to CPU's topology, which is called. And when it comes to CPU, they don't know the core difference between like why iOS is more efficient, or like why maybe sometimes it's not efficient, or why even the bigger one is efficient, or why even like the more RAM is less efficient than the other. There really depends on some scenarios. Like, for instance, when it comes to iOS, it's more efficient, usually more efficient, but there's sometimes where like the higher end could be very efficient sometimes, like depending who makes it. But I think why Apple is very well when it comes to like efficiency is because they integrate the software with the hardware. So when people say, when an Android person said that, oh, we got more RAM, so it's better, that's usually not the case, because even if we have more RAM, it also depends on the software, which is probably the most important that matters. Like, is it efficient enough? Like, if it's less bloated. And I think the problem with most software nowadays is it's more bloated and stuff. So give credit to Apple too. Now, another thing I like about Android is another pro about Android. We're going back to Android with the pros. Another pro about Android. Well, a pro about Android is that you can actually install APKs. Now, people don't understand what they're talking about, what I mean by APKs. See, with Apple, they could take down any app that they want from the App Store, and that's what we're going to realize. Let's say you have a game you love, right? You love this game so much. Let's say they ban it for some reason, Fortnite, and they ban it for some reason. You can actually reinstall that app no matter how you want, even with updates constantly, with the different app store. So at least on Android, you can still get Fortnite. It's probably the only platform. It's definitely the only platform you can get Fortnite on a mobile device, besides the dedicated software like the Switch. Alright, we just got that elephant out of the room. Alright, so now let's get to another discussion. Oh, the bubbles. Yes, that's right, the bubbles. So every time I talk to people about iPhones, I remember don't get me wrong, when I was younger, when I had an iPhone, I almost went to this mentality of being like, oh, being Apple, I will always be an Apple fan, and it's fun. But when you become very like older as an adult, when you become an adult, and also when you become very responsible, and also when you become not a troglodyte, but adult, hopefully humanity gets so far in space, you realize how much you grow, and over time you learn the difference between the two architecture of Android and iOS, and how this phone warriorship is just very irrelevant. For instance, I'll give an example. Now, let me tell you something. Like, I had people that tell me that, oh, you should switch to your Mac to touch. You know what it's called? I don't even need to switch to Mac, because you know why? I built myself a Mac. I made a video on my channel about how I built a Mac using PC hardware that performs a little bit better than Mac. Only problem is my limitation with my hardware, obviously, which is very interesting. It's only my limitation with the hardware, but it works. It at least works, which is pretty cool, and it's pretty much cheaper compared to like other competitors, which is pretty impressive. I found that pretty impressive. I got a Mac working on PC hardware. I can run Linux on here. I can run Macintosh. I can run Windows. It's basically like your lesbian Bianca. I call it my Bianca PC rig, my Bianca PC laptop. It's in one of those that bipolar thing. Let's put this bipolar, or that weird like oh, I want to be like straight, or I want to be a lesbian type of scenario. Like it does what it wants. It does what it wants basically. They put it in kids' terms. I know this channel might be for kids, but it's really not. YouTube, please don't demonetize my channel. I'm trying to do this for funsies, but I don't want to have a backup plan, to be honest, because YouTube likes to demonetize. Used to demonetize my videos and stuff. And plus I work with Google, so I would be very careful what I said, obviously. Obviously for obvious reasons. But like I was saying, it's like Bianca's like your bipolar rig, It could be angry, it could be happy, it could be very sad, or it could be basically be lesbian or gay. It depends. It's the Bianca rig. It could be gay or lesbian. It's the Bianca rig. It's the bio rig, basically. It does what it wants. It could run Windows, it could run Linux, it could run Macintosh if it wants to, if you want to become lesbian or become straight, I don't know. And it could also run Madeline OS, which is the operating system I created. It does what it wants, It can even run Korean OS, Korean operating system, which is pretty impressive. It can even SSH to Google server and create like a Google Cloud server, like a drive, make your own drive server using Debian. It can run anything and all, and sometimes all at the same time. Now, this cost me about $400 to make. Actually, no, I didn't make it. I just bought the laptop itself, but I usually take care of it. Like, it's easy to take care of it. It has a removable battery, which I feel like people are like, oh, it's a removable battery. Why wouldn't with that? Because if I'm using a laptop, I want a laptop that lasts for a while, and at least removable battery, I can remove the battery, replace it, and easily replace it. I gotta replace it soon. I replace the battery soon, which is pretty easy because it's a removable battery compared to the new laptops, because it's like not removable. So once the battery dies, you're screwed. But at least with this one, I can replace it and fix it, which is not a problem, which is pretty cool and pretty amazing indeed. So yeah, I'm merging onto the turnpike, the Mac turnpike. Obviously, this is the turnpike right here, which is pretty cool. But yeah, this is my world I created. Obviously, you can see this is a world. I show you this in this is from my Switch. I made this on my Nintendo Switch. So this is made from my Nintendo Switch, and my family members, most of them, and my friends made the buildings and stuff, and my my cousins and stuff, and my nephews and all that stuff. I made the railroad I made that railroad right there. That's the turnpike right there, but go back to what I was saying over delete this. Now, so my majority of the story is you should enjoy what you have, honestly. I don't get why people have this phone warriorship. Like, if you have an iPhone, I'm not against that. I'm not gonna be like a fan of them, be like, oh, you have an iPhone, that was cheap. I'm not gonna be like that. And if you have an Android, I'm fine with that. You're not poor. You're not broke. You're fine. You're awesome. You're awesome. I'm pretty sure the person's awesome who's using that. I met people who was pretty awesome, pretty hot for using an Android, and I met people who was using an iPhone that were pretty hot and awesome. So whatever you can think of, I don't know. I'm just a human. I'm not a troglodyte. I don't believe in like fanboy shit. Now, another thing I talk about is like another thing advantage about Android. Once again, we're back to Android. I'm not saying no, because I remember made a video about only Android, like why I like Android. But I think that video was outdated, didn't do well. But luckily it did some well sometimes. Like I said, you can do emulation on the Android. That's what I said in the last video. I also mentioned, I actually technically did mention that I wasn't also an Android big fan. I'm not a fanboy. Because people see me as a fanboy. I'm really not. I could use any device and I'll be fine. Once again, I'm the same guy that created Madeline OS. So if I could create Madeline OS, I'm pretty sure I could use every operating system. But I think of operating system as like worlds, and it's like laws. Like each operating system has its own law, and each law of the operating system you have to follow. Like for instance, like iOS, you can only go by their rules, and then Android, you can do whatever, but you have to go by their rules too. So each operating system has their own law of how to use it, how to develop stuff for it, and how to use it, which is pretty damn interesting. I found that fascinating. Alright, but going back to Android, like I said, Android has emulation, and you could use emulation while iOS, you can't really do that unless you jailbreak it. But even then, there's a way around it. You can use web apps. Like right now, I download this emulator for iOS, which is a web app. So you technically can get emulation. So really, it's the phone wars. What's the point of being a phone war in the first place, I know there's a lot of misconceptions with emulation. They actually ban it on the App Store, but you can get it from third parties technically by using the web app. So yeah, unless they patch it down the road, that's probably the only way to get emulation. Maybe Android or using the web apps. Added to the home screen on iOS, which is very hard if you don't know what you're doing. But if you're tech nerd like me, you figure out it's actually interchangeable, and you get used to it, which is pretty cool. So yeah, and with iOS you can't put mobile games without having that. Well, yeah, I told you, I said that already. Okay, let's go back to the same. So another thing we're gonna talk about is what was we gonna talk about now? Another thing we're talk about is basically the fanboy session. Now, what is the definition of fanboy? A fanboy is a type of person that will always buy the same product and always recommend the same product. Well, basically, be a very big fan. A fanboy. It's very self-explanatory. I don't have to explain the definition to you because I'm pretty sure you know what it is. And personally, I'm not a fanboy. I fix everything. I don't care. I really fix everything, which is pretty cool. And I find that fascinating how it works, you know? I fix everything. And I think it's beautiful that you can fix everything. And I think I'd rather be able to learn everything, learn and adapt and learn everything at iOS. And I think it would be very good for job promotions. And I think you'll be more, I think doing that, you'll become more elitist and you're more better, more efficient. And it'd be way better to, do more. Oh, the grass is growing. Oh, my God. I had to cut this. I had to cut this grass. Holy crap. I got maintenance on this road. This road gets dirty. If it gets abandoned, it will look really creepy. This is a tunnel, but it gets very, hairy. It gets very grassy in the tunnel, which is pretty cool. It's just very interesting. I cut the trees here. It can't grow here, but it can grow like that, which is fascinating, which is pretty cool. I cut the trees here, which is pretty cool. But ever since, it can't grow, so... It's a tunnel. I made a tunnel. Going back to what I was saying, but what's pretty cool, though, is that, yeah, I'd rather be not a fanboy, honestly. I think I think being a fanboy is very dumb and very troglodyte move. So, yeah, what's the majority of the story is? The majority of the story is enjoy what you have. Enjoy what you have here. Because I see I have iPhone, but it doesn't mean I'm spoiled, or it doesn't mean that I think people are dumb to have, it doesn't mean if I think people are dumb when I see people with green text bubbles, because that's not how I think, I think that's a dumb move, and that's just not intelligent. Even if you're intelligent, you believe that, you should get this phone, and basically believe in one-side opinions. You have to look at all sides, I think that's why, if the only way, I think that's why when you basically, I think that's why when you view the world, all different sides, all different angles, it could be a good thing. But obviously don't overthink. I feel like don't overthink every 2 seconds, though, because that's my problem. My problem is I overthink a lot. And if you overthink, it could be a bad thing. But sometimes, once in a while, you should look at all angles of the situation and better understand the situation. I think more people should do that. For my case, I gotta do it less often because I overthink all the time, which is bad for me. But I know the perfect balance between it. I think you should think all sides of another, all sides of the angle, and I think that would be better. And is that the point? Is the point of getting the phone is to call your friends and chill and also watch movies, watch whatever. Basically play Minecraft, do whatever on your device, which is pretty cool. I find that fascinating. It's just a rant I want to make. I made a rant video. Just want to rant on this because it's just really weird. It's just really annoying that people think that having whatever phone you have could dictate your personality, and I find that really weird. There's literally people who literally think you're poor for having a certain phone, which is disgusting, or basically being you're rich for having a certain phone, which is ridiculous. If I ever have kids or have sons and stuff, and they go think like that when it comes to their phones, I'm gonna literally take their phone away and throw it in the garbage. I swear to God, because what people don't know about is each phone actually spies on you, to be honest, and that's a different video another time. Because the government spies on you, so the fact that if I tell them that, they get scared, oh my God, you believe in fake news on the internet, buddy. It's not fake news. It's actually simply factual because we live in the United States, and You know, you could be wiretapped anytime you want. I mean, there's literally evidence and leaks about that. It's not even fake news, it's just fake and factual. Not my fault that you went to our Facebook page to see people, to basically see people saying, oh, we should not wear a mask, and you just didn't wear a mask in public and freaked out, and saying that, oh, I freaked out. We should not wear a mask because it's the 5G spreading the viruses. That's fake news. I'm sorry, sir. That's fake news, and you should go to a mental institution for that. Okay. So yeah, it's not my fault you believe in that fake news. Okay, and you think all internet is fake news. Okay. Let me just give you the majority of the story. Not everything on the internet is fake news. Okay. Like, unless you're a troglodyte and you believe everything online, unless you're the type of person that goes on TikTok and basically does the what is it called, smack your teacher challenge on TikTok or whatever, or like the whatever thing you do on TikTok, the challenges and the dumb challenges on TikTok. I think you're a troglodyte, and I think you need some mental health. All right, I think that's gonna do it for the video. Sorry about the rant video. I haven't not made a video in a while. I had to make an update video because I did make a video about like how I like Android. I don't know how should I title this, but also I'm not a fanboy of Android. I said once again in the last video, I like Android. I also said that I'm not a fanboy. I do support every operating system, and I was just telling the pros, which is a little different, but it didn't do well, but it did decent. So hopefully this video does well. If you do like this video, make sure you give a sub to this channel. We do exclusive content and stuff. I was playing Minecraft earlier. It's nighttime right now. In the Minecraft world, but in the real world it's daylight. I made sure my VTuber face cam tomorrow. I don't know when, because yeah, it's been 9 days since I did a video. And I know that to me it's like, oh, it's not that long, but in internet terms it's actually it takes forever. So yeah, I'm sorry about that. I was on vacation. I had to transfer everything to my phone, and I had to relearn everything about the iPhone because I use Android a while. But I know to use iPhones pretty easy. I can adapt to it. Yeah, and once again, that's the advantages of being open-minded and willing to learn both devices, because then you can adapt to any device, and I think that's fascinating. So yeah, I think that's gonna do it for the video. Sorry about the rant. I think that's gonna do it for the video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for continued support. I love you guys very much, and I'm out. Let me close this out, and thank you for continued support once again, and I'm out. DJ13, here we go again. Going to Japan with the Advance. Game Boy Advance. Oh my god, so pokey on the internet. Damn. At least I'm not a sim. I'm just chilling in Japan with my girl. Oh my god.